So guys, we're now going to work on another guard pass. Okay, I'm going to try a counter I'd used before, and my opponent is going to try defense, and I'm still going to pass his guard. So here we are. I'm standing. Okay, my opponent is going to start looking for me. He wants to impose his game on me. He wants to grab my legs. He wants to grab my hands. Okay, and once again, you got to respond by being ahead of him. So again, my opponent gets close to me. He grabs my leg, as you see there. Okay, now before he gets to this point, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put the hand, fence the hand right under the armpit. Now, before I can do the next move, my opponent sits back just like that. He puts me in his open guard. Now, what am I going to do? I've got to work the underhooks again with my hands right there by his body. You see, I was using the underhooks a lot when I was at the bottom. I do the same while I'm on the top. At the bottom, you were using them just like that, putting them under the armpits, grabbing his shoulders. Now, you've got to have them against his body, okay? I lock my forearms against the opponent's body, okay, and I don't let go. Now, we're going to see it again. My opponent comes in. I immediately fence my hand on the upright. He responds by laying back, okay? So now he's got his hooks there, all right? Now, we're going to negate the hooks during this move. Now, immediately, I've got to make sure I lock down my body. I can't let the guy come up and work the underhooks and look for a move that's good for him. Be a step ahead of me. We do not want that. I immediately put my body down on him, just like that. I keep my head tight against his chest, okay? I've got my forearms against his body right there. Now, we also walk the knees towards him. You see how I walk the knees towards his butt, and I make sure his hooks become useless, all right? The tighter my knee is there and my elbow is there coming against my knees, the worse it is for his hooks. His hooks have no flexibility. Now, at this moment, my opponent is going to start moving, trying to create space. That's when I'm going to do the next move, which is lift my legs high in the sky to pass his guard. When the legs go high in the sky, they're going to land on the opposite side of my head. If I'm looking this way, my legs are going to land on the other side. All right, my opponent starts moving. I lift my hips up, and I land right on that side, that knee against his hips. Let's check it out again. We get to this point. We got the underhooks right there against the body. We'll lock the elbows down, the forearms against his body there. Okay, my head against his chest. Okay, I'm going to break down his hooks by walking my knees towards his butt. Okay, now everything is locked down. My opponent is not very comfortable. As soon as he starts moving to get out of there, this is a moment we're going to use. We're going to use his movement, his motion against him. All right, I lift my hips high up and I drop my knee right against his hip there, as you see. Let's check it out again from this side. He comes in for my leg. I immediately put my hand on the armpit. He responds by sitting back. He's ready to play the guard game. Just like now, I need to fall immediately on my opponent, or else he's going to work his underhooks on me. Okay? So I've got my underhooks right at his rib cage. Now, I'm going to do the move once again, walking my knees towards his butt, okay? Locking that heel of his against his butt, okay, to render his hooks useless. Now, as I'm looking that way, okay, I'm going to lift my legs high in the sky, put in my weight on my elbows, okay, legs high in the sky, and the knee drops right by his hip, just like that. Just like now, the higher you go, you have to understand, the worse it is for his hooks. His hooks cannot get to me the higher I lift my legs, okay? So, we're going to see it again. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. I lift my hips up. His hooks can't get to me. I drive the knee right against his hip. Okay, the other knee comes down. I lock my hands together. Now, this is something that you've got to do with speed, with a lot of momentum, using your elbows to get you off the ground and really getting those legs high. Now, talking about getting the legs high. If you don't get them high enough, my opponent is going to be able to respond, okay, by putting me back in his guard, okay? I've got to get my knee against his hip there. You see I do that? He's going to lock me in his guard. He's going to play a game that's advantageous to him. He's going to have something else to do to me that I do not want. So once we get here, okay, again, my knees are tight against him. I lift up, the knee jams against his hip there, as you see. My other knee comes down, hand around his head. I'm going to lock my hands together like I've been doing in a lot of positions, and I'm going to put my chest down on him.